There was a young man named Alex who had always been curious about the value of true power. He believed power was about control, wealth, and influence over others. One day, Alex decided to take a break from his usual life and go on a solo trip to a distant land. His destination was a remote village known for its ancient wisdom and hidden strength. The village was located in the middle of a vast desert, surrounded by mountains. After days of travel, Alex finally arrived at the village and was greeted by an old man named Cairo. Cairo was the village elder and had lived through many generations. He noticed Alex's curiosity and invited him to stay and learn the village's secrets. Alex was intrigued and decided to stay for a few days. He wandered through the village, noticing how peaceful and happy the villagers were. They didn't have much wealth or luxury, but they seemed to possess a quiet strength. One evening, Cairo took Alex to the top of a mountain overlooking the village. As they watched the sunset, Cairo asked Alex, "What do you think power truly is?" Alex replied confidently, "Power is control, riches, and the ability to make others follow you." Cairo smiled and said, "That is the illusion of power, my friend." He continued, "Real power comes from within, from knowing yourself and your purpose." Alex was confused and asked, "How can that be power if you can't control others?" Cairo answered, "True power doesn't need to control. It influences through understanding and wisdom." The next day, Cairo took Alex to a hidden cave in the mountains. Inside the cave was a large stone tablet with ancient carvings. Cairo explained that the carvings told the story of a great king who once ruled the land. This king was feared by many because of his vast army and riches. However, his desire for more power led him to betray his closest allies. In the end, the king was overthrown by his own people, losing everything he had built. Cairo then said, "The king thought his power lay in his wealth and army, but he never understood true power." Alex began to reflect on his own life and how he had always chased control and influence. He realized that while he had achieved success, he often felt empty inside. Over the next few days, Alex spent time with the villagers, learning from this simple way of life. They showed him that power wasn't about dominating others, but about being in harmony with oneself. One evening, Alex met a young girl named Mia, who had traveled from another village to learn from Cairo. She told Alex about her journey, how she had faced many challenges but never lost hope. "I used to think power meant never showing weakness," Mia said, "but I learned that strength comes from being vulnerable." Her words resonated with Alex, and he began to see power in a different light. He realized that true power was about being confident in who you are without needing to prove anything. As the days passed, Alex started to feel a sense of peace and strength he had never known before. He hiked up the mountain every day, reflecting on what he had learned. On his final day in the village, Cairo took Alex to a sacred spring hidden deep in the forest. The water was crystal clear, reflecting the sky like a mirror. Cairo told Alex, "This spring has been here for thousands of years, unchanged by time." He continued, "Like this spring, true power remains steady and pure, unaffected by outside forces." Alex knelt down and drank from the spring, feeling a sense of renewal. In that moment, he understood that power wasn't about having control over others. It was about controlling one's own mind and heart, staying true to your values. Before leaving, Cairo handed Alex a small stone from the sacred spring. "This is a reminder," Cairo said, "of the power that lies within you." Alex thanked Cairo and the villagers for their wisdom and hospitality. As he began his journey back home, Alex felt a newfound sense of purpose. He no longer sought power through control or wealth, but through inner peace and strength. The journey had transformed him, showing him the true value of power. When Alex returned to his city life, he applied what he had learned in everything he did. He became more understanding of others, more patient with himself. His career flourished not because he demanded respect, but because he earned it through kindness and wisdom. People began to notice the change in Alex, wondering what had happened during his travels. He never told them about the village or the sacred spring, but he carried the lessons with him every day. One day, while walking in the park, Alex saw a group of tourists struggling to find their way. He approached them and offered to help, guiding them to their destination. They were grateful, and one of them asked, "You seem to know this place well. Are you a local?" Alex smiled and replied, "No, but I've learned that the best way to find your way is to help others find theirs." The tourists smiled back and thanked him before continuing on their way. Alex watched them leave, feeling content with the small act of kindness. He realized that power wasn't just in grand gestures, but in the simple moments of life. Helping others, being kind, and staying true to oneself were the real signs of strength. A few months later, Alex was invited to speak at a conference on leadership. As he stood on the stage, he felt nervous at first, but then remembered Cairo's words. "True power is like the spring," Alex began, "steady, pure, and unaffected by outside forces." He shared the story of his journey, how he had once chased power through control and wealth. But real power, he continued, isn't about what you have, it's about who you are. The audience was captivated by his words, inspired by the lessons he had learned. After the speech, many people came up to Alex, thanking him for his wisdom. One young woman said, "Your story reminded me that strength comes from within, not from what others think." Alex nodded and replied, "That's the lesson I had to learn the hard way." He left the conference feeling fulfilled, knowing that he had shared something valuable. As he walked outside, he looked up at the sky, feeling a sense of connection to the village and the people he had met. The stone Cairo had given him was in his pocket, a constant reminder of the inner strength he had discovered. Alex continued his journey through life, always mindful of the true value of power. He traveled to new places, meeting new people, always eager to learn and share. His life became a series of beautiful moments, filled with both challenges and triumphs. But no matter where he went, he never forgot the lessons from the village in the desert. The strength to help others, the wisdom to know himself, and the courage to stay true to his values. Alex realized that power was not a destination, but a journey, one that he would continue for the rest of his life. He became a mentor to others, guiding them on their own paths to discovering true power. Each person he helped was a reflection of the journey he had taken. The village, Cairo, Mia, and the sacred spring were always in his heart. And with each step, Alex grew stronger, not through force, but through understanding. His life was no longer about chasing power, but about living it every day. As time passed, Alex's influence grew, not because he sought it, but because he embodied it. He became known not for his wealth or control, but for his wisdom and kindness. People came to him for advice, not because he had all the answers, but because he listened. Alex's journey had taught him that true power was about connection, compassion, and clarity of purpose. He had found the strength to be himself, and in doing so, he had found the power to inspire others. Years later, Alex returned to the village in the desert, seeking to thank Cairo one last time. But when he arrived, he found that Cairo had passed away, leaving behind a legacy of wisdom. The villagers welcomed Alex back with open arms, and he spent time reflecting on all he had learned. He visited the sacred spring again, this time understanding its true meaning. The water was still clear, still pure, just like the power within him. As Alex left the village, he knew that his journey was far from over. Power wasn't something to be owned or controlled, it was something to be lived. And as long as he stayed true to himself, Alex would always carry the strength he had found in the desert. He walked down the mountain with a sense of peace, knowing that true power was always within him. And with that, Alex embraced his journey, forever changed, forever powerful.